for one judge to get their result in, and I don't want to have the finger point happen and preempt the actual result on the screen. And at the same time, I don't want to ice those drivers because the third judge is a holdout and he really wants to see this particular shot again. Some of that stuff we have to deal with, and it's probably not fixable very easily, but some stuff we can. And so between Atlanta and now, and we've been thinking about this prior, is trying to eliminate in the spotters area in particular, but not because of spotters. We have a lot of crosstalk, and the crosstalk is, hey, we need this angle, they want to review this, we want to see a side-by-side. Chris informing Jared and Jacob that yes, there was contact and it's a complementary timeout, and then having to explain what that is and why that's different than the historical competition timeout, guy gets a 0, incomplete, blah, 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 blah. Excuse me. And then there's the judges asking us for things. And the one that we get the most is the request for a side-by-side when there's a close battle without an incomplete, where they're trying to do a review. And so what we've kind of gone to is like hand signals, and we know each other's facial expressions, and et cetera, et cetera. But it can be challenging because people can get sucked into what they're doing, and then you might hear somebody yell, "I need a side-by-side," right? So that A, we lose time there, but B, also I think the kind of product suffers a little bit. So we came up with 4 areas, actually three areas of the tower operations that we're going to basically trigger by lights. And it will be relevant for you guys in the sense that the ones that pertain to spotters will be able to be seen, and you'll know, oh, okay, this is a complementary timeout, et cetera. So let me just go through it real quick. This remote here will sit on the judge's side of things. And if they get towards the last 3 quarters of the second run and they know it's going to be close, and they know that they're going to need a side-by-side, and they know that we're going to need the time to clip in, clip out, get the best drone footage to do that, this will buy us the ability to do that while they're looking at the other reviews. And so they just say, hey, I need a side-by-side. So that way we see this, we know that they need it, and we will confirm to them, all right, I got it, and then light goes off. So that's more of an internal thing for us, but in this tower you might see green and yellow lights popping up in there. And that's also just to know that there is a side-by-side review that's going to be happening at the tail end before the result. The other one is we're going to do a formal judges review in the production now. So usually what ends up happening is like, I'll see that it's going to be a controversial battle no matter what, that the result, whatever way, people are going to, half the fans are going to freak out, half the fans are going to cheer. Chris will also see that, Jared sees that, and what ends up happening if somebody or everybody yells, we got to explain that, and it's very, very chaotic when that happens. So we're going to take that part of it away so Jared and Jacob can just stay in what they're doing, and we're going to tell the judges we need a judges review. That will come probably once we know or once we think, and it's super helpful that Chris is a previous judge, this is probably going to be one of those. So when that goes up, they know to prepare for a judge's review. The judge's review will now be a formal thing that will come up after the result with a graphic, and Reese will walk us through the side-by-side shot, is the preliminary one that we're going to use, what he and his other fellow judges were looking at when they made that result. And by doing that, it allows him to converse with those guys just in case they're not in agreement. Why one went one more time and driver B, and then he can walk through it with a visual display, which is not something that we always have because of that we need a review. And that is because production is getting ready to move on to the next thing. They may not have the same intuitions that we do, and Chris is already getting ready to go in the burnout box. He knows if this goes up, nobody's going in the burnout box, and he can make sure that those drivers don't get iced, and that there's going to be an explanation. And it will be consistent because it will be the side-by-side about what it approximately takes to run in real time from A to Z. And he knows that maybe if that's 27 seconds, which he'll know after grading conditions and whatever else, Then he's got a timing function that allows him to do that burnout box so that once that's done, hopefully you're up to the line, smoke is chasing you, and boom, we go to the next one. So that's the idea there. And then the last one is we're still having some trouble explaining what a complementary timeout is and what it means. There are some people, not you guys, but there are some people that think that when there is a complementary timeout because there's contact, that means that there's an incomplete, and that's not the case. It just means that we're giving the drivers the opportunity to take a complementary timeout to make sure everything's chill, but the run itself is just judged as is. And there's always well, who's at fault? People associate fault with incomplete. May not be the case, and we have distinctions about that in the rule book. So if Chris knows that this is occurring, then that will come up. And the spotters will see that, and they'll know their driver has asked, or somebody on their behalf has asked for a complimentary timeout because they got rubbed in the last corner or something like that. So this is our V1. I'm going to try to play around with it and see, if we can be better, more explanatory, more efficient, easier on us, particularly in this booth because it's very, very close quarters. And overall, just try to make a better show. So if you have any questions about that, you can ask now or talk to me afterwards. But
where will those be mounted?
I think that trying to get it so that it's the same will be probably hard, but also not beneficial at every round because of the distinctions between the individual towers, like Road Atlanta, Columbia. I haven't looked yet, but I'll probably mount the competition timeout one facing the spotters, so out the window. And we'll probably try to make it so that the lights are at least seen out the window for everybody. But really, the side-by-side is for the commentators and for the judges. The I got it is really just so that I don't have to say, hey, I got it, whatever. Judges review is for commentators and for judges, and competition timeout is a good one for spotters, for other people that are spotting for other teams or your team in particular. So when I'm up there setting them up, if you see like, hey, I can't see it or something like that, we can figure that out. Cool? All right, thanks.
So, you guys were in Orlando and it does lightning and stuff. If I have a lightning strike on the ground within 5 miles, I have to hold for 15 minutes. If I get another one within the 15 minutes, I have to hold again. So I don't think it doesn't look like we're getting into that, but I just want you guys to be aware that we're just going to have to wait. It's like a safety thing or a county thing or whatever. More questions for you? Yeah.
All right, good morning. Here's our schedule for today. You guys can leave the line up at 1 p.m. You can do a track walk at 1 p.m. and practice starts at 1:30. Then again, you guys can get your cars and see autograph signing at 5:30, and we start warm up at 7, and the live stream and team bracket start at 9. This I'll send you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll upload this to Discord. There's the track map. It's essentially the same thing as the previous year. Only difference is when we get to Intertrip, we did the boxes again, so otherwise the zones and everything will be painted yesterday and marked everything identical to what it was last year for those of you who drove here. Lead drivers should initiate wide and drivers left, no later than the 3-2-1 markers. Proper direction, no more than 2 moves, back on throttle quickly, then on e-brake. Lead driver should get as close to the wall as possible without abruptly making contact with it, and chase driver needs to get in the pocket as quickly as possible after the initiation, maintain line, angle, and proximity. What we did was also, for those of you who noticed in Atlanta, we painted 3 lines that were across from the cones on the hill in Atlanta. We also did it here. It makes it a little bit easier for people in the stands, also on the live stream, so when we go back to watch in the video, you don't have to look and see where the little marks are, you can see it on the track. Does that make sense for everyone? Okay. Lead drivers should approach outer zone 1 confidently and run as close to the wall as possible without making contact. Overhand goes out the zone. Lead drivers should close the zone entirely and not cheat the line by leaving the zone early. That sometimes happens here. And then the chase driver should follow the lead driver and match the limit angle throughout the zone. There's what the start of the zone looks like. So you put the vehicle in it, you put the tire in the box. When you're exiting, it'll look the same way. We've got the clipping point set up and you come off. Does that look good for everyone? Interclip 1. Approach interclip 1 box, come in with appropriate angle. And stay on throttle passing your clip. Chase driver should follow the lead driver, match with every angle leading up to and after the interclip 1 while maintaining proximity. The transition after interclip 1 should be smooth and calculated with no fluidity, disruption, or momentum. For those that haven't driven here, you'll find out that there's a little bit of a whoop section that kind of makes the cars jump depending on where you hit it. So be aware. There's what the box looks like for this one. So that's the interclip 1. Yes.
So I know in Atlanta, box is like the golden ticket, right? So is it possible to be too far in over the box and not in the clip? Or is that okay?
Yeah, we want you in the box. Like if you get your front bumper and it's touching, like let's say there was a little bit more room and you were touching the interclip but your tire wasn't in the box, that's not good. We want your tire in the box.
That's my
Yep. Because we want to make sure there's room for the chase car.
Because you can't be too close to the interclip.
Yes, and then especially for Atlanta, people were going in between the box and the interclip. So yeah.
So does that mean you want front bumper in the box so that there's this much between front bumper and clip? Or
Ideally-
tire on the edge of the box?
Ideally, you kind of want your tire to be in the center because then it gives you plenty of room. That way, if you got a big overhang or not, you've got plenty of room.
Oh, it's a dumb question. Cheap tire or chase tire?
This, well, there, we want your front tire close to the interclip again. So it's front tire, but that's what's in there.
But the right side tire or the left side tire?
This one is the right side.
Okay, so
Because if this one's in there, then you're hitting the clip.
that's what I was asking.
Okay.
Then that means that before you were painting the lines at the angle that you wanted our vehicle to have
Yeah.
to go to clip, is that still
I mean,
the
they
same?
still kind of go on the same line, so you can see where here's the old line and the box fits within that. So ideally now, it's like it should still be at that same angle that we want you to come across it.
Because obviously you would not be matching the same angle that you want in this picture, right?
Yeah. So we want you. I mean, you're still gonna do like you did last year. You're gonna come across it like this. We just parked your car there. Obviously, we didn't jump it. But like the idea is we want you to put your tire in the center of that
But
box.
still following the angle that the box
Yeah, when you come across it. Yeah, we don't want you shooting from way. Well, you can't cross that way wide this way. It's not right. We want you to drive this to the end and then come through cleanly because you're gonna need to get back over this way to transition to get back across.
Right.
Yes.
So is ideal tire center of the box like a target?
Yes.
So if you're on the inside of the box, not touching the
So like the tires here.
yeah,
And not this way?
that's not ideal.
Not ideal. Okay. So we want you. That's right here. Make sure there's room for the other box.
Okay, perfect.
Does that make sense for everyone? Okay. Interclip 2. So you should approach interclip 2 box, come in with appropriate angle, same as interclip 1. After passing interclip, the lead driver should maintain angle, setting up for option 2, and the chase driver should basically better match that angle leading up to interclip 2. So there's interclip 2. Now it's the other tire. It's in the box and it's in the center. That's ideally what we want you guys to do. Yes.
Your preference close or this you want I understand you want to have a second box. You're more of a close or
We'll do the same with the ducks either way if you left or right, but yeah, ideally we want you to center.
The cones are kind of confusing then because it's
What's the thing there?
the cone being there is confusing because it has nothing to do with the line. It's just
This,
there, yeah, reference.
I mean, I guess they have a visual reference so they know how close to get to it. I mean, we had the one at Atlanta and everyone just kept going toward, well, most people kept going towards it.
I think it's because like that's what you guys have done.
Yeah, but I mean, do you want us to remove the guns? Oh, no, I'll put them off.
What if you put the cone on the other side of the white line where no one's going to be like not get
So
over?
way in here, just so you still have a visual?
And so people don't go out practice. I did it.
Okay. That's your heart? That's your heart. So, yeah. Okay. All right, so the majority wants to leave it where it is, so we're going to leave it where it is now. Is that good? Leave it where it is on the picture? Okay. Yes.
Does that mean, being a chase vehicle, that the line is the edge of the track? Not the box, not the cliff, but the line is the edge of the track? But it kind of seems like the edge of the track is now the cone,
Where the cone is.
right? I mean, if you're a chase vehicle, if that's the edge of the track, the white line, but you're a chase vehicle and you blow over the cliff, chances are you guys will be like, oh, he's way off track. So what is actually the edge of the track?
This is still the edge of the track. You're just running. I mean, if this lead part, let's say right here, I mean, obviously they're going to be way off hitting this mark.
I think more Chase, talk to Chase, because I know what you're
But this area is also quite narrow through here, and part of the reason is because of this right here. We can't push the track any further. You guys, so if we shift this line over, then that other line shifts over to keep you on track as a chase car. So then we run into the issue of the drains that are on the track. So this is kind of why we switched, because years ago we used to have it, which actually was right over here, and it was off track. And then we kept adjusting it to make it flow better for you guys. Power out.
And it's the same as the outside. If you're way over here, you're okay. It's just it's not gonna look good. So if you're on the tank, if you're way over here, you can drive there too, but it doesn't look good. So
I guess the question is, in the chase, if you do a transition and you kind of lost in the smoke and you're back here, you might be on the edge of the track. It's not necessarily a deduction. You're actually still in pretty good proximity.
It's
But
a deduction for line. It's still going to be a line deduction.
I
You
mean,
just knock out the tire.
if we're
It's
like
the only
this
difference.
though, we've said that this in this area is desirable, right? So, but it's the opposite when if you're that far forward and you blow the cliff. Is it like, oh, we hit the cliff? That's way worse than being back here tighter on the edge of the outside of the track. I don't know how it couldn't be, but that leads to the question: what is the actual edge of the track then?
Yeah, I mean, where we count tires off will be this line. But you're still offline. Like, you're still, if you're way over here and you're still didn't drop tires, you're still way offline from what you're supposed to be doing. And you're following that lead car. So, this lead car's here. The
far here,
Yeah.
you can, but we're not gonna give you deduction for getting off the track. But it just don't look good. But I don't even know where you're gonna end up over here either. So it's really up to you.
Got it.
Yeah, because this is also set to go up around zone 2. Was there another question? Yeah.
Is marker 1 in the box the same distance as marker 2 in the box? It looks like it's slightly
With this one and that one?
Yeah. In Atlanta, I think you had like 3 feet.
There's not 3 feet between. Oh, from what? From like the road Atlanta?
Yeah, so my suggestion is, going forward, I like the box idea, just whatever the box is to the slip, trying to keep that a consistent distance, because we're all going to get really used to that cone and where our front tires should be for our car. So whatever you do going forward, making sure that distance is...
So if you want, you could flip this out, another one, and then it might be closer to it. If you want to do that, put it here, we'll just take this one, X this one out, and keep it here, and then you might not hit as much during practice. Does that work for people?
Whatever it is, I think it should be consistent with every clip.
I don't know, when we were around Atlanta, when it was a little further back, you guys just kept chasing towards the cliff. So leave it close like it is now? That's it. I'm sorry, what now?
Whenever it gets dark and all the tire rubber goes over those things, you can't see it.
Well, you shouldn't get a lot of tire unless you're running way inside because it's your front going over, not the rear is going to leave all the marks over here.
When it's dark, you still can't see it, so the clip gets closer is a better route.
Okay. All right. So leave it here. Basically what this is one base off from it right now. Yes.
My point was to keep it consistent, though.
Yeah, I get it.
Make sure the measure...
So from here on, I'm telling you, this is one base. So it's probably 18 inches. 2 feet, whatever that base is. Yes.
Do those things float?
I don't know. We'll find out. They weigh like 20 pounds or 40 pounds. We'll see. All right. Any other questions on this one? Yes.
What's the thought process on adding the momentum zone at the end of the bank package?
Adding it where?
Drop the momentum zone back
Oh,
to the bank.
from up here?
Yeah, last year when you guys added the additional pavement, you guys took away the momentum zone.
We can pull a couple runs during practice and look at it and see if you guys are doing it, if anything's changed. All right, how's that sound?
Yeah.
All right. We'll pull some data, pick some runs that are good, and then see if we can get the data for it before maybe the second session. All right, outer zone 2. Carry momentum from interval 2. You can pull on more angle if needed to slow down for outer zone 2. Lead driver should approach outer zone 2 confidently and close to proximity to the edge of the flat track without going up on the bank for the appropriate angle. Lead driver should close down the tire until crossing the finish line. Chase driver should do always and match the lead driver with better angle on proximity. So that actually is going to be up here further. We were just going to rush last night before storm, so this will be sitting up higher and probably right about there. That way you guys won't hit it coming into it. And then there's exit, that's probably, yeah, that one will be correct. The other side will look like that too. Does that make sense for everyone? Yes.
So I guess I get the point that Justin's bringing up is that the edge of the track to the marker is different on every single zone.
Well, this one's done so you guys don't hit the thing, if we put it here, this is on a bank, and it's gonna lean into your run.
I agree. I'm just saying, if we just do a standard, like let's say all outside zones are 4 feet away, 2 feet away.
This one, the bank isn't as much, and if I put it up here, it's gonna get the wall, you won't see it in probably. I mean, this track's different because every turn's different, so. I mean, if you guys all wanna vote and tell me where to put them all, if I make them all, that means this is gonna be way over here, if it matches the outer zone, ground zone too. This one's just a unique situation how this track works. Or we just end it. If I end it so way early, you're gonna dive off really cut really well. This is how it is. Put it this way, each turn won't change, so where they're painted now is where they'll stay. You should be alright with that. Any other questions with this? Alright, we will, let's see, I think the last thing was 3 tires is incomplete here in this track because the infield's so narrow. Those who have never driven here before, during the course walk that you can do, I would go look out there at those drains. They are quite big. They will cause damage. Know where they are so you don't hit them in case you go off course and get blinded in the smoke. I didn't get a chance to take a picture to see what they look like, but they're pretty gnarly. All right, yes.
Momentum map? Do we have that? I missed it?
Oh, see, we do have that one there coming off the. Oh, it's after, right? Okay. Yeah, we'll pull the footage and we'll make sure that that doesn't change it, so we'll update the score and let the spotters know.
I don't think that's the right spot.
That's probably the old one. So yeah, we'll pull that during the run.
So there will be or
Yes. Oh, and Robbie wants to remind you all that the lead is important. So make sure to focus on that. But yeah, we'll check data and make sure nothing's changed with you guys. So we'll do probably halfway through the first session, and then we'll try and have an answer for you guys before the start of the second. Does that sound good? All right, good luck.